Everyone cool? So let's do another exercise. Now let's just fulfill the promise that we've been building up. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's see how much time we have. Okay, good. This is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to start again with the hypnotic rapport. In other words, the inner smile, with have a little eye flash, a little bit of mirroring, depending on what happens next. Again, explore the same scene with this person again. For now, you can kind of rush the step a little bit because you pretty much know what's coming already. Now, at step 3, when we've got the H+, instead of just going, that's right, right? Which would be, in the real world, a little bit obvious or a little bit like, this is a little freaky, what's going on here. We're going to use the same energy, shall we say, the same emotional state, the same mindset. So mentally, with your intention, you're intending to start going, that's right. That's right. That's what you're mentally intending to do. What you're actually going to do, you're going to use what I call the echo effect. You're going to echo back their phrases. You're going to echo back their phrases in the order that they came. Now, if you're familiar with the idea of active listening, do not do that. Active listening is where you reinterpret someone else's words and stick your words in there instead, hence opening completely different folders, shall we say, inside their mind. Different associations, right? You use their words, their phrasing, ideally their tonality and pacing if you can do that too, right? So what is that you reflect? Well, let's say that my experience was, well, I was in the seminar room yesterday, and, John came up, and he made me look at his eyes, then he said, sleep, and then I felt so really, really comfortable. Do you see that if I was scripting out a movie, there are different little sequences going on in that movie? Does that make sense? Each one of these is something that you can echo back at them. So, you were here yesterday. And there's John. He asks you to look in his eyes. Has anyone noticed what I just did, by the way? I echoed, but I made one subtle change. I moved from the present tense, from the past tense to the present tense. So you were in this room yesterday. There is John. He asks you to look in his eyes. Do you see what we're doing here? Because present tense is more likely to revivify. In the past tense, you're more likely to create a hypermnesia. Does that make sense? Everyone clear with that? If your language is stuck in the present, it sticks in the present tense, you're making the experience more immediate. You're more likely to revivify the experience, bring it back to life for them. If your language remains in the past tense, even though they start recalling the event, they're more likely to stay in a hypermnesia, so they'll have clarity or recall, but the experience won't be as intense for them. It's a rule of thumb. It's not 100%, of course, because different people will react differently in terms of how strong the memory is for them anyways. Does that make sense to you guys? So I'm going to echo these things, and then I'm going to echo them as though I'm still doing my explorer phase, right? So I'll say, so you're in this room, and John's there. He asks you to look into his eyes. He asks you to look into his eyes. So what happens next? I don't know. I just kind of close my eyes and feel great. So you're in the room. John's there. He asks you to look into his eyes. And then something happens. You don't know what it is. But you feel good, don't you? Can you all hear my tonality shifting into that's right kind of gear, shall we say, right? Can you all hear the language being reflected verbatim, more or less, and the shift from the past to the present tense? It's a really straightforward process, right? The key here is to keep control of the conversation, to direct it yourself, and become very hypnotic in terms of your mannerisms and so on. So we'll have the echo effect here, and we'll do tense refers to time rather than physiology, right? Typically, do you want a quick example of this? I'm probably the easiest. Yes? Who here likes to do hypnosis? Who enjoys a good trance? Anyone wants to do that? None of us, yeah. Come on up. Give him a round of applause. Have a seat. So how you doing? Having fun?
Thanks.
Everyone's going like, oh, I know we did. I could see it. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Who's doing like that? So can you think of a particular experience, like a hypnotic experience you enjoyed? Maybe here recently?
Definitely, yes.
Like when? Oh, you know what? Can we get a microphone? Can I have a handheld so I can... Here we go, let's go. We'll turn that one off. Yeah, I'll just take this one, the new one. Sure, I just turned the other one off, so it should only be one on right now. Right. Still with me?
Still listening, definitely.
So I'll hold it for you because you're not going to have much chance to hold things for very long.
That's nice.
Sorry.
Yes.
There's a presupposition, isn't it? So where was this experience? What happened?
That happened just yesterday.
Just yesterday?
In the lobby.
In the lobby. Okay. So a second, you're in the lobby, and it's yesterday in the evening or daytime?
It was light in the at the night.
At nighttime.
At nighttime,
right?
definitely.
So it's yesterday evening.
Yes.
And you're in the lobby.
In the lobby.
Right. So what happens?
I was a hypnotist.
You were the hypnotist.
Definitely. And so
you were the hypnotist last
definitely.
night, and you had a profound hypnotic experience. Is that what you're telling me?
Definitely.
Wow. How did that happen?
You know, I find it so funny that when you're doing hypnosis with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you start entering a deep, profound state of trance yourself.
So you start entering a deep, profound state. So what actually happened in the lobby? Tell me about that.
So I was sitting with this guy.
You're sitting with someone.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I was doing some word stuff with him.
You were doing some word stuff with him, right?
Actually, and finally I noticed that I calmed down.
So you noticed that you'd calmed down.
Yes, definitely.
You'd calmed down.
And my voice changed really much.
And your voice changed really much. Wow.
And
So you'd calm down, your voice starts changing. What else happens?
I noticed that not only his body was settling down, but I followed him in this manner.
His body settles, and you start to follow him. You start to follow him. Let me just pause you there. Can you see the changes already occurring? By the way, as far as a conversational trance goes, I really don't need more than this. I don't want more than this, because then, we can take this further. I can break cover, shall we say, and go to semi-overt, and with that, of course, get more eye closure and strange phenomena and so on. But as far as a conversational trance goes, that's all we really need. Did you see this breathing shifting? When he talked about the breathing shifting, it actually became more steady and deeper, right? Do you see the glazing of the eyes? Do you see the locking expression? Do you notice how his physical movements reduced to practically zero, right? That's all we're really talking about. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Very pleasure. Give me a nice round of applause. So that's all we're doing. So did you see the hypnotic rapport, right? It's a quick thing. It's invisible to most people because it's that quick, but hopefully it's pretty much a no-brainer to you guys right now. I explored a little bit about stuff. Notice how, at one point, he was starting to take control of the conversation a bit too much, right? He was making a meta-comment. He's talking about what it's like to go into in trance and so on, which incidentally would have been a great conversation induction on me, like, you know, when you go into a trance, you have these experiences, like, going, yeah, actually, I do know that. That's kind of nice. Right? It's a great conversation induction. But then, then suddenly I realized, hey, I'm supposed to be a hypnotist here. No. So you have to take control of the conversation, and we'll talk more about, in later days, how to control and direct the conversation. Then did you see me making the switch? You should have seen, I did it relatively overtly, so I didn't try and subtly move into it. I pretty much switched over. Did you all see the switch happening? Did you all hear me echoing and reflecting back, more or less verbatim what he was saying? Occasionally I made a few switches, especially in tenses, right? Did you hear the tense switch as well? And the consistency of the tense switch? It's really straightforward, right? Come on up. It really is quite straightforward.
You mentioned switching tenses, and it seemed like you switched back and forth on them a few times.
I didn't switch too much. He actually kept himself in the past tense more or less continuously. So occasionally I switch back to the past tense just to catch him at the same place and go back to the present tense.
Just to say, oh, come on.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Okay? Everyone clear with that? All right, so just spend 5 minutes apiece doing that. Really, I only need 5 minutes so you get a feel for it. Then we'll have a break and then we'll come back and do some more hypno magic. All right, guys? Off you go.